Good afternoon, Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. Welcome to Promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with Class. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. So before we get into the heart of our show, a couple of announcements to make. The first announcement, episode 6 of Don't Get Fooled Again is currently showing. A couple different ways of seeing that. One, you can actually see it on television. It's actually on cable access. So the Anne Arundel Community Television, that's channel 99 on Comcast, channel 98 on Broad Stripe, channel 38 on Verizon. The show's playing Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. It's playing yes, that's correct. It's playing Tuesdays and Saturdays at 10 a.m. in the morning. And again, that's cable access, channel 99 for Comcast, channel 98 if you have Broad Stripe, and channel 38 if you have Verizon. The next thing, May 20th is the day where Ferndale Day is going to be celebrated. Now, this is being sponsored by the Greater Ferndale Community and Civic Association. It's going to be held over at there's a field that's called the Senator Wagner Field. It's over there at the corner of 3rd Avenue and between Broadview Boulevard and Hollis Ferry Road in Ferndale. It's right off of B&A, right near where the light rail kind of moves on the other side of 97. And the big event, let me show you the panel, the poster now. There's a couple big things going on that day. One is Battle of the Bands. There's 2 bands. Lonesome Prospectors will be playing 2 sets. I covered them in episode 5. And also Different Sisters is playing also. I'm not familiar with them, but I'm excited to learn about them. At 1:30 approximately, on the smaller stage, we're going to have the play, Our Back Discovers the Glen Burnie Carnival. We put a team together. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to learn about the history of the Glen Burnie Carnival together. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun, everybody. So let's digress and get to this week's episode. Research this week comes from 2 different sources. I do have some research from YouTube, which we'll be reading from a little bit when we get to the point about speeches. But also, the first thing is actually a book that I read about one of my favorite people. His name is Colin Powell, or it might be known as General Powell. General Powell rose to the rank of 4-star general, but he, unlike many generals, came through ROTC. So he didn't come through the academies. And he came in during the Vietnam War, where a lot of our smarter people, some people who we would consider to be at the higher ends of our society were going in a different direction during the time in the Vietnam War. I guess that's the best way to say it. Let's take a quick look at the book. Here it is right here, Colin Powell. I read this book, it was probably about 15 years ago. He was at the height of his times then, okay? It was a little while ago, but I remember it well. Let's look at the fundamentals. Colin Powell was born April 5th, 1937. He died October 18th, 2021. So he's known as an American politician, statesman, diplomat, and of course, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he was Secretary of State for the second President Bush. He had a lot of hobbies, but the one that stands out, he liked working on old Volvos. My mom had a Volvo, so I'm not knocking the car. I'm just saying that, hobbies, right? What always stood out for me about Colin Powell. He was always so calm. He delivered a message, but he delivered a message very calmly. And maybe because of that, he was always taken with a great amount of credibility because of that. Okay, let's move on to the next section. I always like to talk about something about Anne Arundel County. Well, this one starts off in a little bit of a different direction, but we will get there, so just bear with me. The other day, one of my favorite songs came on the radio early in the morning. It's called "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." It's a great story there, right? You know, the devil's, he's in a jam, right? And he runs across a young boy playing on a fiddle and sawing the fiddle and playing the harp. Well, let me not get into the lyrics, although it's very easy to do that. The song ends, and the DJ makes a statement about Charlie Daniels, because it's a Charlie Daniels band. He's the leader of the band. Great fiddle player, non-violin fiddle player. He said that Charlie Daniels had sang in a barbershop quartet group. This is a cappella music, way before the whole Charlie Daniels experience. And it got me to thinking. It got me to thinking about doo-wop music, which started off essentially as vocal music. People would just sing on street corners in the 40s and 50s and harmonizing, and always one lead singer, one guy doing the bass on that. And got me thinking about it. So I started to do a little bit of research in Arundel County about this phenomena. And I came across a group called the Van Dykes. And I came across some other interesting historical factors that play into this reading here. So in 1952, these guys met at a school in Annapolis called Bates High School. Now, in that time, Bates High School was the only high school available for Black students to go to. That's it. The only public high school, I should meant to say. That's it. And the leader of this group was a guy named Roland Brown. He was in the 10th grade at the time. He played some drums. He was the founding member of the group. Took these guys a little while, about 4 years, but the Van Dykes were born. And they were a big, important group in that Anne Arundel County area. In fact, they had a lot of different venues they played. Sometimes they might be playing over there at 7th and D Street in Washington, D.C. It may have been at the Rhapsody Club, which was on Annapolis Road in Baltimore Highlands area. Or it might have been the Dixie Pig. Yes, the Dixie Pig over there in College Park. Something else about these guys I didn't know about. They played at some of these beaches, the Carter's Beach and the Sparrows Beach. These were also beaches where Black folks could go at that time. This is 1952. That was a long time ago, 70 years ago, in fact. Things have changed a lot. But yeah, that's how it was in those days. So the Van Dykes, nothing but respect for you guys. Nothing but respect for you guys. All right. So we're going to finish up with speech. I like to look at famous speeches, famous poetry. And what we found in going back through the last couple of episodes, that when we have pulled these speeches from YouTube, they're not translating very, very well in the system that we're using to record. So I'm just going to read it to you, okay? In this speech, we go back to 1984, presidential election. At that time, the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, nominated Geraldine Ferraro as their vice presidential candidate. And she gave an acceptance speech. And this is what she said. Ladies and gentlemen of the convention, my name is Geraldine Ferraro. I stand before you to proclaim tonight, America is a land where dreams can come true for all of us. As I stand before the American people and think of the honor this great convention has bestowed upon us, I recall the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who made America stronger by making America more free. He said, quote, "Occasionally in life, there are moments which cannot be completely explained by words. This meaning can only be articulated by the inaudible language of the heart." End of quotes. Tonight is such a moment for me. My heart is filled with pride. My fellow citizens, I proudly accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States. And I am proud to run with a man who will be one of the great presidents of our century, Walter Mondale. Well, that was 1984. They did not win. Ronald Reagan went on to run a second term. His policies had been good for the country economically, and America was in his lap, so to speak. But that was a great acceptance speech. So with that, just to recap things, episode 6 is available for Don't Get Fooled Again. And Ferndale Day will be celebrated Saturday the 20th. So we're hoping you get the opportunity to check out both of those events. Until then, or until the next time, my name is Anthony Bynum, and this is for promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with class. Bye-bye.